Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. This thing hit me so hard. Today will be a difficult day for Radcliffe Campbell Sr. The cop is forced to mark an anniversary he wishes did not exist. It is now a year since his 24-year-old son, Radcliffe Campbell Jr., has been missing. It is coming around to the time when this whole thing happened, so it put a lot of stress on me, trust me, he reported. This thing hit me so hard that it even deteriorated my health certain way. I wake up one morning with my left foot crippled, and I know that it is the stress that I put on myself. I'm barely recovering right now, said the distraught father. Campbell Jr. was reportedly last seen by his mother, Antoinette Taylor Campbell, at Parkinson Plaza in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. He is said to have part ways with her after receiving a phone call saying he was on his way to Glenglough St. Catherine, where he lives with his father. Investigators have a slim lead in the case. They were able to locate one of the missing man's mobile phones. One of his phones was found in Portmore, but we haven't gotten much from it so far. The person from Portmore said they bought it from somebody, and so I am not sure how it ended up there. They are checking out some stuff in it though to see what they can get, said Campbell Sr. On the last day he was seen, Campbell Jr. was dressed in a blue shirt with white markings on it, paired with blue joggers pants and black loafers. As a member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, Campbell Sr. is well aware that once 2 weeks have passed, the search for a missing person does not usually end well. Quite a few missing people are being investigated, and we know the result when people are missing for a certain time, so I wasn't looking for anything after the first 2 weeks. I don't have any hope that he is alive again, because the torment and pressure that he would have been under wherever they took him, I don't think he would be able to go through, and he wouldn't just leave on his own free will, he said. It is only in his dreams that he is now able to see his son, something he had never imagined happening. Me dreams him couple of times, but me I wonder if it's because I keep thinking about him so much. Me remember me dreams him come home with his grey hair, and he might tell me that he is alright, but that was the last. Couple other times it's like nightmare, because it's like him come into the house and we talk and end up in the living room before me realize that me awake, said Campbell Sr. The father is struggling to understand why someone would harm his son. He reported that the boy was employed at a law firm as an auditor and had many plans for his future. He was not mixed up in no criminal activities because he had a good job and him never grew up that way to be red eye. Unless somebody draw him into something that he is not aware of, because that can happen where you end up in the wrong crowd and not know, he lamented. But this really mashed me up. I don't know when I will ever be fine. He is hoping police investigators will be able to provide answers. We need more to be done, and more can be done to get more information, said Campbell Sr. Eager seniors turned out for booster jobs. Scores of senior citizens went to various vaccination sites yesterday to get their COVID-19 booster jobs, some of whom said they took it for increased protection against the Omicron variant of the novel coronavirus should it get to our shores. At St. Joseph Hospital in St. Andrew, 76-year-old Ivan Stevenson said he did not think twice about getting the additional jab. The moment I heard the booster was available, I decided to come out today. My view is it's a matter of weighing the risk, and nothing in life is guaranteed, Stevenson reported. I do believe that if I take the vaccine along with the booster, in the event that I get COVID-19, I think my immune system will be better able to fight off the coronavirus. I will be able to recover at home instead of ending up in the intensive care unit in the hospital, he added. 87-year-old Vernon Clark agreed. That's why I am here. It will also make me feel safer from the coronavirus overall. I would encourage everybody to take it, whether seniors or anybody else. They should certainly come and get it, said Clark. 95-year-old Myrtle Richards said, I have to take it, and I got the go-ahead to go and do so. I should be more secure from the coronavirus. At the same location, an 84-year-old woman who did not wish to be named said that she had no objection to taking the booster jab. They are offering it to this age, and I got my 2 doses already. I am a believer in taking the vaccine, she said. Meanwhile, 26-year-old medical doctor Errol Green is imploring others to take the booster. Definitely, we need to keep the antibodies up if you are going to prevent serious infections from COVID-19. Everybody should get their booster so that we can eventually come out of this pandemic, he said. At Mona Aging and Wellness Center at the University of the West Indies, Dr. Singh noted that more than 200 people came for booster shots. It went well. We had a lot of people showing up for their boosters. Mainly, it was for the visor. A few healthcare workers also came to get theirs. I am suspecting that they're holding back a little for the senior people to get theirs, he said, adding that he anticipates a better turnout today. Robbers, rapists lurking in shadows of transport sector. Arguing that too many people are falling victim to rapists and other criminal lurkings in the shadows of the transport industry, President of the Transport Operators Development Sustainable Services, Mr. Newman, is urging members to get identification badges. The badges are a legal requirement and are issued by the state-owned transport authority. The issue is that too many people are getting abducted, robbed and raped under the cover of the transport sector, Newman said Sunday in an address to an award ceremony hosted by the management of Lacey Transport Center. So when my sister is going to take the taxi, she wants to see who she's looking at like the taxi man. They want to see the mark on the car, they want to see the red plate, but most of all, they want to see that badge. That is your passport to drive a taxi. If you don't have your operating badge, you are not a taximan, you are not a busman, and you are not a conductor, he said. Safety has long been an issue in the transport sector, and the use of licensed red plate vehicles is often touted as a much safer approach for commuters than taking those that are not licensed, particularly referred to as robots. In June, for example, robot taxi driver Michael Swaby and his sidekick, Dwayne Edwards, were found guilty of 20 charges relating to a horrific string of kidnapping, robberies, and rapes across the corporate area. On July 28, they were sentenced to 38 years and 9 months and 38 years and 5 months respectively by the corporate era gun court. Newman wants there to be a clear distinction between those who are operating legitimately and those who are not. The badge, he said, is a vital component. Newman also used his address to commend the awardees, including a number of operators of public passenger vehicles who he described as unsung heroes worthy of emulation. You will not see them at Jamaica House on Heroes Day. You will not see them at King's House. You might see them at the other house because that's how we look for our brothers and sisters who are transport operators in this country, and that is unfortunate, he said. He appealed to operators of public passenger vehicles to abide by the laws and pay close attention to their deportment. Please carry yourselves respectable and create that mindset change in you that the commuting public will continue to enjoy the best transport experience there is, urged Newman. He said while he came up with the idea to use badges, he was initially concerned that they display too much of their holders' personal information. That view later changed, he said, and he was back to being convinced of their importance. After studying the whole thing, I said, too much people are come from foreign and buy taxi and all sorts of things happen, he told his audience. He dismissed claims that the badges are difficult to acquire. Don't tell nobody, said the badge hard to get, and the badge no worth nothing. That is not the issue, Newman asserted, adding that he can get the badge within days. Acting Corporate Communications Manager at the Transport Authority, Merdina Column, reported yesterday that just over 40% of operators of public passenger vehicles have identification badges. She said that within the past few weeks, the authority has been undertaking a drive to have more drivers comply with the law. Column explained that it will take 10 working days at most for people seeking their first badge to get a temporary one, provided their applications are in order. First-time applicants will undergo a 2-day training program and later are issued with a permanent badge within a 6-month period. She also noted that people renewing badges can have that done within 10 working days at maximum. BOJ faces Parliament. Bank of Jamaica BOJ Governor Richard Blythe is scheduled to appear before the Standing Finance Committee of Parliament for the first time under new provisions in the BOJ Amendment Act that gave the BOJ its independence. Under Section 34FG, Section 3 of the Bank of Jamaica Amendment Act 2020, the central bank is required to face the committee to answer questions relating to statements from the Monetary Policy Committee, MPC. The MPC by law is required to publish statements on the performance of the central bank with respect to its monetary policy and achievements in relation to the inflation target. These statements must be prepared at the end of every 6 months or sooner on the directions of the committee or the House of Representatives. The statements relate to those released by the central bank in the aftermath of its rate hike decision, the second of which took place on November 16. Then, the Bank of Jamaica pushed interest rates up by 100 base points after seeing inflation rise to 8.2% in September. Recall, that was well above the upper level of the 4 to 6% inflation rate that was set by the ministry in writing to the BOJ. Based on the BOJ Amendment Act 2020, the target inflation range is set by the finance minister after consulting with the central bank. Stocking inflation in September were increased in international commodities and shipping prices, a shock to agricultural prices and one-off interest in regulated transportation and energy prices. A few days after the decision was made by the MPC, the committee met on November 11 and 12. The Statistical Institute of Jamaica Stanton on November 15 released new information showing inflation in October reached 8.5%, the highest it has been in 13 years. Come tomorrow, Stanton is scheduled to release new data on inflation, and that will certainly impact any new decision made by the central bank. In November, the MPC wrote the Minister of Finance and the Public Service to explain the causes of the breach, the measures that have been taken by the bank to restore inflation to the target range, and the short-term outlook for inflation. Several measures have been taken, chiefly a hike in policy interest rates, which at the moment stands at 2%. So, there are several questions to be answered, and those will be provided to Parliament today. Wayne Robinson, Senior Deputy Governor of the Bank of Jamaica, said the bank will be answering questions relating to its management of the economy in the first half of the calendar year, which was tabled in September. The governor, who is the chairman of the MPC, and team will appear before the Standing Finance Committee of Parliament to answer questions in relation to their report and, in general, our stewardship of the monetary policy and performance in relation to inflation targets set by the government. The bank, in preparation for this occasion, provided a briefing to members of Parliament and the Senate on monetary policy formulation and implementation and how monetary policy impacts the economy. We look forward to appearing before the Standing Finance Committee, as this is a key element of the accountability framework underpinning the inflation targeting strategy. Julian Robinson, opposition spokesman on finance, said he's expecting the governor to explain the full reasoning behind the interest rate hike decisions taken over the last few months. He noted that he also expects to hear how interest rate hike will help to control inflation, while expressing skepticism that it will work. Robinson added that he believes the 100 base points increase in September was very aggressive. The matter of how long interest rates and inflation will be heightened is also another matter of concern, especially as it relates to how external inflationary pressures are causing increases in the prices of things like rental costs, for example. He also says he will seek answers on other issues relating to volatility in the foreign exchange market and the interventions. The BOJ can also expect questions on its structure and the operation of the Monetary Policy Committee. The BOJ appearance in Parliament comes a day before Stanton is scheduled to release inflation data for the month of November. The MPC is also scheduled to meet later this week ahead of a rate decision set for Monday, December 20. That will be the last decision for the year, but international events will expected to influence the BOJ's decision, not just what happens locally. Kelly's residents grateful for public Wi-Fi.
But I'm so pleased of what taking place today in Kelly's. And I'm so happy, and I'm happy I'm the councillor with this division. And I'm happy that it's taking place in my division. And I'm going to show you, say, Palo, dead and Palo, no dead, Palo alive. And everything that is out there, we are going to seek it for Kelly's to get it. And I'm sure the member of Parliament is going to make sure we represent Northern Clarendon the best way we can. Thank you very much.
know one of the things that we hold as a philosophy is that our work has purpose and what we do makes a difference. We are proud to be a part of this initiative. At C&W Business, we are leveraging our technology, the network backbone, what you know when you hear us talk about the network, we're leveraging that. And we're engaging in collaborations such as this to ensure that through these Wi-Fi hotspots, we're bringing connectivity to even more Jamaicans. In addition to this particular hotspot event, we are engaging in 25 other similar events as we go with the USF across the country. And this goes hand in hand with the work that we do at Flow, which is the brand that you know in your homes and so on. To date, we have connected, since January 2020, we have connected over 500 communities to the fiber-fast internet. This is thousands of Jamaicans. In Clarendon, we have connected over 15 communities since this year alone. So we've been working diligently to bring our fiber-fast internet into more homes, as we recognize that this is going to become an even greater need as we move forward. We also have, on our Flow Foundation, we've been providing free Wi-Fi or free internet service to over 19 schools in Clarendon. And this is at the primary level. Because as you go back into face-to-face learning and so on, it is important that schools are prepared for what that new normal is. And so we continue to serve and continue to transform lives, build communities, and bring innovation to create moments that matter for all Jamaicans.
We are making sure that we achieve the sustainable development goals of the Vision 2030 agenda. Because we want to make sure that when 2030 comes, we not only develop the infrastructure, but our people's lives must be properly and sustainably developed. And so, internet is our way of life, as you heard from the floor just now. And we want to make sure that you are not left behind, students, because you are the ones who will have to now help us in the next 8 years to achieve all the sustainable development goals that we need to achieve in order for us to be where we want to be, a developed country by the year 2030. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be here with you. And I do hope that you will utilize this Wi-Fi facility in the best way that will enable you all to become better people, students, better adults in life later on. You can all get a good job and pass your exam and everything, and make sure that later on you buy a big house and a big car.
2 years ago, at a different place within this division, on a different platform, which I shall not say the purpose of that platform, I made a promise. And the promise was to bring Wi-Fi in Kelly's division. Promise made, promise kept. And so I want to thank the team that is led by Mr. Daniel Dawes for the work that they have put in, for the fact that they have taken my call at 9 p.m. in the night and later, and for the team that dare to email me to ask me for a number of things, and I said to them, you have the budget, I'm asking you to please provide it. And they were so gracious and said they will. I thank you.
So as you enjoy this Wi-Fi, this free hotspot, ensure that you take in charge. And tech here is TECH, right? Ensure that you take in charge. Ensure that you're not just using it to browse social media, get some likes, share this post, comment on that tweet. Ensure that you're also using this online space to pursue training, pursue your goals, get some jobs, that will enable your progress and lead to an even better life. Thanks again to the USF for selecting us for this initiative. We look forward to even more partnerships in the future.
Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.